In March of 1933, Franklin Delano Roosevelt was inaugurated as President of the United States. FDR and his wife, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, communicated frequently with the American public and actively fostered a personal relationship with their constituency. As a result, the FDR administration received more written correspondence than any other president in U.S. history, with an average of 5,000 to 8,000 communications each day, with some 15 million letters from the public preserved in the Franklin D Roosevelt Library. More than half of all letter writers were from the working class, who felt like FDR was a president who had their best interests at heart and who truly listened to their concerns. Many, if not most, communications were addressed to Mrs. Roosevelt, who would often share stories from these letters when addressing the American public. Among the millions of letters the Roosevelts received, those from rural America offer insight into America that is chronically overlooked. Proud, resourceful, stubborn, and passionate, rural Americans wrote letters to the Roosevelts and to their local congressmen asking for work, for clothes, for shelter, for money, for a way up, not a way out. Welcome to History in Letters and Memoirs Great Depression series. This collection intends to be a living history that draws from two books, Down and Out in the Great Depression, Letters from the Forgotten Man by Robert S. McIlvaine, and Dear Mrs. Roosevelt, Letters from Children of the Great Depression by Robert Cohen. Each installment in this series features a selection of letters organized by topic, with a few excerpts from Cohen, McIlvaine, and other sources to provide additional context. Although these letters were written almost a century ago, their content feels unnervingly close. Because Cohen and McIlvaine have taken great care to faithfully transcribe each letter as it was written, every letter is displayed on screen as it is read. Images from the time period accompany the text. I try my best to read word for word, but at times I make minor changes to language and sentence structure. I claim sole responsibility for any mistakes in interpretation. Likewise, cadence and tone of voice are my subjective attempt to convey the deep feeling with which 1930s Americans wrote to their presidents and politicians, sharing their lives, their despair, their hope, and their need. Mrs. Franklin Roosevelt. Dear Madam, I now drop a few lines to ask you a few questions, as I cannot find out anyplace else. Now, as my daughter died and left 3 little girls 4 years ago, and as time had been so hard on us, and as I have been told by folks we should have a pension to help support the girls, and as I have tried to find out here and I cannot, I have been told to write to you and ask you about it. Now, I do not care to part with a little one, and as last year was a very hard year on us, and we are a family of 9, and as my husband had been work on the seed project, but it sure is very hard to keep $9 and $12, other for me to see if I could not get a pension to help care for the 3 girls. For I am glad to keep them at home if I can only have a very... Now I have to school them, little one. They need clothes and things, and as I cannot them, they are in the 9th grade, 5th grade, and 3rd grade, and now in the time I like to be able to keep them going right along. Would like to hear from you to see if they are entitled to a pension. I also have 2 boys in the 8th. No, I have quite a bit to care for. I will close before this reaches you all right, and before you can understand this all right. From Mrs. N. A., Knoxville, Illinois, March 29th, 1934. P.S. As we were trying to buy us a small place, and as we were out of work, and as the chinch bug and dry weather kill all our crop, now we have to move if we can find a place. We do not know where we go, so please let me hear right back. As was, time is out, April 4th. We tried to get 5 or 10 acre so we can raise most of our living. Answer soon and oblige me. Mrs. A. Mrs. F. D. Roosevelt. Dear Lady, I read your letter telling me to write to the relief office for help. I did. They wrote me that they was putting people off the relief now instead of taking them on, and I don't want on the relief if I can help it. I went to work for a living, but the last thing we have is gone, my cow, that I ask you to send me some money to save her for my little children to have milk. Has been taken, and we only get $17.50 on our debt for her. We picked cotton at 40 cents per 100 pounds till it was all gone. Now there isn't one thing here that we can do to get bread to eat. My sick child is still living and taking medicine, but the doctor says he cannot keep letting us have medicine unless we pay him some, for he is in debt for it. And the man that has let us have a house and land to work won't let us stay in the house if we can't get a mill to plow the land with. And we cannot get a mill and can't get a house, and don't you know it's awful to have to get out, and no place to have a roof over your sick child, and nothing to eat? I can't tell all my troubles. There isn't any use. We only have a few days to stay here in the house. Now won't you please send me some money? I am sure you can. $300 would get us a mill, some corn, and other things we need. My children hasn't gone to school a day, and if we can't get some help, they won't. Please send me some money, and please don't write me like you did before. My husband is in bad condition, and if you write me a letter like you did before, it will hurt him so much. So won't you please send it and say nothing about it? I live 15 miles from my post office, have no way to go no place, and can't stay here many more days, so please help me soon. The man that place belongs to wants his land worked, and he is nice and kind, and will wait on us a little longer. I hope I won't be disappointed. My troubles is great. I has to get help from you in time to get to stay here, for don't know any place we can go. So please, hurry. And asking you again to please not write anything about me asking you for help again. Wishing you much pleasure, Mrs. C.D.C. Winsboro, Louisiana, October 29th, 1935. Dear Mrs. Roosevelt, I'm write to you to ask you if you would send me some of the clothes that is of no longer use to you. I have a family of 9 children. It would be of great help if you would send me some clothes which I could fix over for them. I would be very grateful. I remain, yours respectfully, Mrs. A. M., Waterburg, Vermont, January 19th, 1934. Mr. J. Will Taylor, Tennessee Representative. J. Will Taylor, a white Tennessee representative, and Robert Reed Church headed the state's Black and Tan faction of the Republican Party in Tennessee in the years before the Great Depression. Black and Tan Republicans fought against Jim Crow. Republicans who opposed the Black and Tans were known as Lily Whites and were supporters of segregation who sought to suppress the black vote. In her thesis, Black Politics in the Age of Jim Crow, Memphis, Tennessee, 1865 to 1954, historian Elizabeth Gritter recounts Robert Church Jr.'s memory of J. Will Taylor, an ally who, quote, always firmly and sincerely believed that all men were equal, that he was an exceptional white man from the South. Gritter continues, quote, Taylor and other whites at the state and national levels worked with Church and voted to seat his faction at conventions against Lily White opposition. These supportive whites clearly recognized Church's ability to mobilize votes for the Republican Party and submerged any prejudices that they had in order to align with him. By accepting black authority and participation in the Republican Party, they helped loosen the rigid structure of Jim Crowism. I am enclosing you a few lines for instructions, if you please. I am here with 5 children and a wife, and under the new act of law, I can't get a day's work at anything at all. I haven't had a day's work for over 2 years. I am a disabled body man and can't get a day's work at all. I am a ruptured man. My family is barefooted and naked and suffering, and we all are going to perish if I cannot get help some way. I can't get any aid at all, and if I could get it in Scott County where it is, from me I could not go and get it, for it is about 20 miles to the closest railroad station from where I live in the county. I have got no horse, no automobile, no nothing to ride. Can you please, if possible, fix for me to get some help some way? Can you fix for me some way so my family will not perish? So hoping to hear from you soon. N.P. Newcomb, Tennessee, August 6th, 1934. To the President of the USA, Washington, D.C. Dear President, I am writing you to let you know we are a family in need and are not getting the proper attention. I am a widow left without anything. I have a boy who was hurt in school. He is crippled. We are left without support of any kind. We are on the relief, but the people here won't give us anything. We can't get any fuel, nothing. A long food line. They won't give us any consideration at all. Just give us a little money. Not enough to buy food. Some weeks we don't have anything to get food. My children need everything to wear. Money is so short, I would appreciate all the help I can get. I have 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl, and we haven't a home. Anonymous. Parsons, Kansas, November 12th, 1935. Dear Mrs. Roosevelt, I am coming to you for help. Please do not think this does not cause a great feeling of shame to me to have to ask for old clothing. I am a Lutheran Sunday school teacher. We are very poor. I know we must not let our clothes keep us from church, neither do I, but sometimes I feel so badly when I see all the others dressed so nice. I don't care for swell clothes, but you know one feels awful in old clothes worn shiny and threadbare. I think your clothes would fit me by your picture. Please do not think me unworthy. I am so badly in need of a summer coat and underthings and dresses. Oh, don't think that it is not with an effort I ask you to please send me anything you may have on hand in that line which you do not care to wear yourself. Not a great lot, only a few, please. I never thought the time would come when I would find it necessary to do this. Oh, please, help me. May God bless you and Mr. Roosevelt. If you think me unworthy, don't send anything. But think hard. Put yourself in my place. We mothers always put what little we have to spend on our children. I, too, am a mother. I haven't had a new coat in 16 years, so please don't think me unworthy. I do not wish my children to feel ashamed. Regardless of what you do, please do not put my name and letter up for people to laugh at. Just do what you honestly think is best. That is all that is required of any of us. Please help me. Thanks in advance. Yours truly, name redacted. Aurelia, Iowa, June, 1936. Dear Mr. Neely, Matthew M. Neely served as a West Virginia representative, West Virginia senator, and eventually governor of West Virginia. Neely wrote the first bill calling for a Department of Peace, with a focus on domestic support and well-being, as a counterpart to the U.S. government's Department of War, which was later known as the Department of Defense. He also supported anti-lynching legislation and refused to sign the Southern Manifesto, a document written in defiance of the Supreme Court decision in Brown versus the Board of Education, which ordered the desegregation of schools. Although legislation for the creation of a Department of Peace never passed, despite Neely presenting bills to Congress in 1935, 1937, and 1939, FDR did sign into law the National Cancer Institute Act in 1937, creating the oldest and most well-funded program of the National Institute of Health. Neely himself was a bone cancer survivor, though he eventually succumbed to the disease in 1958. Other legislation includes a 1935 Anti-Block Booking Act, which Neely introduced in response to the motion picture company's hold over movie theaters. In 1938, a lawsuit was filed against Paramount Pictures Incorporated and others, charging 8 major movie companies for violating the Sherman Antitrust Act through block booking and blind selling, practices motion picture companies used that required movie theaters to purchase a company's entire lineup in advance, both A and B movies, without viewing them first. Block booking was outlawed in a 1948 Supreme Court decision in United States versus Paramount Pictures. I am writing to you to see if you can help me of what I am writing you. My family needs some clothes, for they are about naked. I have 4 boys going to school, and this makes the second week they have stayed home, for they do not have any clothes or shoes to wear. I wrote to Mr. Hopkins a few weeks ago about the matters, and I have got no clothes yet. Mr. Hopkins wrote to Charleston, West Virginia, and they wrote to me to see the administrator here. And I seen the visitor, and she said they made their own rules, and they said I had to work for the clothes before I could get them. Or my son, and he cannot work for the clothes because he has not got any clothes to work in. And I have got one little boy. He has not had any shoes on this winter. I notified the school board about my children staying home from school, and the school lady sent me to Mrs. Thorne, who is on the board of the relief office, and the administrator here said that Mr. Hopkins' letter did not amount to anything. They are 11 of us in the family, and I do not make money enough to buy them clothes, for I only make $7.20 a week and 96 hours a month. I do not refuse to work for the clothes, but my family and myself need the clothes bad before I can work for them, and will you please try and help me? Yours truly, J.T.C., Martinsburg, West Virginia, January 16th, 1935. Mr. Norman Thomas. Norman Thomas was a Democratic Socialist candidate for president, an outspoken supporter of the Southern Tenant Farmers Union, and co-founder of the National Civil Liberties Bureau, later the American Civil Liberties Union. He was a conscientious objector to World War I and advocated for the fair treatment of tenants and sharecroppers suffering under predatory landlords. Dear Sir, in regard to the condition I am in, I have not got any work and nowhere to put my things. I've got my household sitting in a woodshed, and the rain is ruining everything I have got. I thought I would write to you and see if you help me get a tent or some place to take my wife and things. Your E.W., Tyronza, Arkansas, April 5th, 1934. Creating a living history is not without expense. If you would like to support the channel, please consider making a donation. I've put a link in the description. You can also support by hitting the like button, subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss a video, and dropping a comment below on which letter catches your attention and why. Turn to the person next to you and tell them what caught your attention and why. Ask them for their perspective. Listen, respond, connect, continue. Thank you for keeping this history alive. Apart from assistance in creating a caption file, History in Letters and Memoir is an AI-free channel. Dear friend, Mrs. Roosevelt, just a few lines in regard to the letter I had wrote to you a short time ago. I was wondering if you had received it. Depression has put us in debt so deep that we are almost forced to ask for money in some way. I am trying to win a contest of $3,500, but I would be satisfied if I could only get $350. That wouldn't cover our bills. Would you please write a letter to Ernie Miller, Manager, Department DA 18C, HQ Building, Cincinnati, Ohio, and ask him to please give me a prize. I am telling the truth in the very depth of my heart how bad we are in need of money, That is why I am begging to win this contest. How I wish you could come to my home today and see what I have to keep house with. We have an 8-room bungalow that we paid $950 for it, and it is going to ruin if we can't fix it up. There is no roof on it. The sheeting is wearing out on account of the roofing being so bad. The woodwork inside is bad because the varnish is wore off. I have nothing for the floors except, you might say, rags left on the linoleum, and we have no mattresses for our beds, only things laid together for a bed. My dishes are nearly all broken. We have 4 boys. I am a diabetic patient. I'm feeling pretty good, but I do not have the money to get the medicine I should have. No one knows what these hard times mean to one unless you have once gone through with it. Our family seems broken up. The kiddies are not happy because they do not have one toy to play with, and I have laid many a night and cried myself to sleep when I think of what I have to work with. The town we live in is small, and there are no factory of any kind to get work from. I suppose you think I am writing this just to get a pile of money, but I am telling you the truth. I thought maybe if you would write a letter to prize manager, for which I gave you the address, and ask him kindly to give me a prize, he would do it quicker, if for you, because I suppose he would think I was only a sucker. But I want to be honest. All answers must be sent this month. If he would give me the full amount, $3,500, I would repair my home and pay my debts, doctor bills, store bills, gas, etc., and the rest, and would take and buy some land that I could raise the things we need to eat. If you would be so kind to ask the manager to help me out, I hope your reward will be heaven someday. My husband and I have both given our votes for Mr. Roosevelt and Mr. Earle. George Howard Earle III was Pennsylvania's first Democratic governor in more than 40 years. Over 3,000 pieces of legislation were passed under his governorship as part of his Little New Deal, which made him one of the most popular politicians in the U.S. and won him the cover of Time magazine in 1937. Earle's Little New Deal accomplishments included creating a state minimum wage, abolishing the private police deployed by coal and iron companies to intimidate their workers, and establishing a permanent Department of Public Assistance. Earle's social and labor policies helped make Pennsylvania what many considered one of the most reform-oriented states in the nation. After his governorship, Earle ran an unsuccessful Senate campaign, but FDR appointed him U.S. Minister to Bulgaria in 1940. A year into his assignment, the former Pennsylvania governor made headlines when he purportedly told Adolf Hitler during a private meeting that, quote, "I have nothing against the Germans, I just don't like you." And I want to thank them both for what they are doing to get the world back to how it should be. I know their task is great, but I believe if they succeed in trying, they will win. I will close, hoping to hear a return. Yours respectfully, Mrs. C. Somerville, Pennsylvania, April 1935. President Roosevelt, Washington, D.C. Dear President, I am in debt, needing help, the worst in the world. I own my own little home and a few livestock, 9 head of red white-faced cattle and a span of mules. I have them all mortgaged to a man, and he is fixing to foreclose me. I have done all I could to pay the note, and have failed on everything I've tried. I fell short on my crop this time, and he didn't allow me even 1 nickel out of it to feed myself while I was gathering it. And now winter is here, and I have a wife and 3 children, haven't got clothes enough to hardly keep them from freezing. My house got burned up 3 years ago, and I'm living in just a hole of a house, and we are in a suffering condition. My little children talking about Santa Claus, and I hate to see Christmas come this time because I know it will be one of the dullest Christmases they ever witnessed. I have tried to compromise with the man that I am in debt to, and he won't accept nothing but the money or my stock, and I can't borrow the money, and I need my stock, so I am asking you for help of some kind, please. So I remain, your humble servant, N.S. Sulphur Springs, Texas, December 11th, 1934. P.S. That man won't even agree for me to have my stock fed. Many thanks to the historians and archivists whose painstaking work preserves our history. Many more thanks to the forgotten men, women, and children from the Depression era whose words reach through time, offering wisdom and warning.